Good afternoon. Hope you're having a great day. I'm going to share a little Dvar Torah and then tell you an interesting story connected somehow. So this week in the beginning of the Torah portion, we read about Abraham, the first Jew, and how God comes to tell Sarah and him that they're going to have a child. And God turns to Abraham and he says, Lama zeh tzachak Sarah lema. Why did Sarah laugh when she heard that she's going to have a child? And the rabbis tell us that when God sent the angels to tell Sarah she was going to have a child, Sarah said, "What are you kidding me? I'm 90 years old, and how could I have a child? And my husband's old." But then God comes to Abraham and says, "Why did Sarah laugh, saying that my husband is old? Is there anything beyond God's reach?" And there's many questions here. Firstly, why did God come to Sarah, to Abraham, to complain about his wife? If his wife did something wrong, why would God come complain to Abraham? Do you want to break up the marriage? Do you want to get the husband upset at the wife? In fact, we do know that God changed what she said a little bit, because she said, "My husband's old." But God said she said she was old. Why did God have to come to Abraham? If you have a problem with Sarah, go directly to Sarah and say, "Hey, Sarah, why did you laugh? Do you not trust God? Do you not have faith in God?" And the answer really comes from last week. Because last week, God tells Abraham also that he's going to have a child at 100 years old. And Abraham laughs too. But God doesn't seem to complain to Abraham. He only complains to Sarah. Why didn't he complain to Abraham the week before? One of my favorite answers is a remarkable answer that the rabbis give us. It says like this: when God came to Abraham to complain, he wasn't complaining about Sarah, actually. He was complaining about Abraham. He says, "Abraham, why didn't you have faith?" So why did he speak to Abraham about Sarah? Because God came to Abraham like he says, "I don't understand. I came to tell you that you were going to have a child." And then when the angels came to tell Sarah, she laughed. When do you laugh? When something sounds irrational, when something sounds impossible. The first time, not the second. So what God was telling Abraham was, "Abraham, I don't understand. Why didn't you tell Sarah that she was going to have a child? If you would have told her, then maybe she would have laughed when you told her, but not when the angels came, because she would have already known. Must be that you didn't tell Sarah she was having a child. Why wouldn't you tell Sarah? If God comes and gives you the great news that you're having a child, why wouldn't you tell Sarah?" And the answer is, you know why you wouldn't tell Sarah? Because maybe you lacked the faith that this incredible thing could happen. And you didn't want to disappoint Sarah. Sarah wanted a child so badly. She was praying for a child. Abraham thought to himself, "God says I'm going to have a child, but I'm 100, she's 90. So what am I going to go tell her?" Yeah, I'm skeptical. So that's why God comes to Abraham. He speaks about Sarah, but he's actually not trying to complain about Sarah. He's telling Abraham, "Lama zeh tzachaka Sarah." Why did Sarah laugh when we told her? Must be you didn't tell her. Why didn't you tell her? Why didn't you have faith in the words of God? It's a powerful message here, because you see, sometimes we lose our faith because things seem too good to be true. And we say it's impossible. And we don't have that deep-rooted faith that there's a God, that God takes after us. Even Abraham, the great patriarch, the one who brought monotheism to the world, the one who taught us about God, his faith wasn't strong enough, and his conviction to tell Sarah, "Sarah, we're going to have a child," because it sounded so irrational. And in our own personal lives, or the Jewish people, as a people, many times we wonder, we question, is it possible that what God said is going to happen? We have deep conviction. What Hashem says, what Torah teaches us. And you're able not just to believe it, but to share it with others, that your hope will be able to benefit and have this miraculous miracle with you. You know, this past week, a breaking story that only found out afterwards, it was this Israeli IDF soldier who went on a non-military visit to Uzbekistan to visit a family. And she was flying back. She was supposed to go through Dubai, from Dubai to Israel. And the plane malfunctioned. There was an issue with the plane, and they had to make an emergency landing in Iran, in Tehran. And here's this Israeli IDF soldier who lands in the airport in Tehran, and they made them all deboard, and they spend 9 hours in the airport. They have to go to passport control. Well, the moment this girl lands, she right away messaged her parents to let them know what happened, that they should alert her superiors in the IDF that she was landing, that she was in Iran. And immediately got passed from one to the other, to the head of the IDF. And in fact, the Prime Minister of Israel, Prime Minister Yair Lapid, was in the middle of a cabinet meeting, and the note was given to him during the meeting to let him know that an IDF soldier is stuck in Iran. And immediately they got the head of the Mossad to be in touch with her and to instruct her what to do. Not to speak Hebrew, to make sure that she has no identification that she's Israeli, etc., etc. And miraculously, she was able to leave the airport after 9 hours and continue on the flight to Dubai and make it to Israel. And only after she was already safely out of their airspace did the IDF release this story. But the remarkable story was that here was a young woman, a soldier, who was in the greatest danger. But she survived, and she had the guidance, and she had the whole state of Israel, and the Mossad, and all the army people, and the Prime Minister of Israel behind her. And that gave her the strength to know what to do and to do the right thing, to be able to survive and make it out of Tehran and come home safely. Sometimes you think about the story of Abraham. Lama zeh tzachaka Sarah. Abraham didn't tell Sarah because he wasn't sure. If something's so remarkable, should he tell Sarah? Maybe she'll be disappointed. But when you know you have the entire, not just Israel and the Israeli army, you have God behind you, and you have faith in your conviction. When God tells you something, you know that it's not just words, but God stands behind it, and it will succeed, and you'll be able to fulfill and accomplish the things you need. God bless you, and have a great day.